Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. The musical Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark had the largest production budget in Broadway history at $75 million. When it closed after a 3-year run, its investors had reportedly lost $60 million. The Ainu worship bears, seeing them as divine gifts that provide hide and meat. When they find a cub, they raise it lovingly in the village, sometimes feeding it breast milk, and treat it as a god. Once the bear reaches 1 or 2 years old, they ceremoniously kill it, honoring its sacred role. In 2011, a drunken moose in Sweden became stuck in an apple tree while attempting to eat more fermented apples. Responding, firefighters managed to bend the tree down far enough for the moose to slide off the branches and be set free. Tigers in the Sundarbans region of India and Bangladesh have been known to hunt and kill humans. Until recently, it was estimated that these tigers got 3% of their total calories from eating humans. The actor Sinbad was one of the worst debtors of the state of California in 2009, owing up to $2.5 million in income tax to the state. Philo Farnsworth was a farm boy from Idaho who, at just 14 years old, conceived the idea for electronic television while plowing a field. Despite no formal training, his unexpected innovation laid the foundation for the technology that transformed communication and entertainment worldwide. In Icelandic folklore, there's a cat called Jólaköttur, or Yule Cat. It lurks in the snowy countryside during the Christmas season and eats people who do not receive new clothing before Christmas Eve. The moon is drifting away from Earth at a rate of 1.5 inches per year. In about 600 million years, the moon will be too far to cause total eclipse. The average depth of the ocean is 12,080 feet, or about 2 miles deep. There's a belief among some Catholics known as Benevacantism, the belief that Pope Benedict XVI's resignation was not valid, meaning that the current Pope Francis has been the anti-pope or illegitimate pretender to the papacy this entire time. In 2009, 2 college students were jailed for refusing to pay a $16.35 mandatory tip at a Pennsylvania restaurant, citing poor service. After national attention, the charges were dropped and the case sparked widespread debate over tipping and whether it should depend on the quality of the service. Taco Bell has tried to enter the Mexican market 2 times, in 1992 and 2007, and they failed both times. It was just too expensive. People didn't understand what they were ordering because the names of the food didn't make sense to Mexicans, and Taco Bell used frozen meat imported from the US. Although the location of the former base of MI6 from 1964 to 1994 was meant to be classified, the Daily Telegraph called it London's worst kept secret, known only to every taxi driver, tourist guide, and KGB agent. Bailey's Irish Cream was invented by an Englishman and a South African who happened to also develop the brand Kerrygold. A recording of Rudyard Kipling's poems Boots is used in the US Navy's Survival, Evasion, Resistance, and Escape, or SERE, school to train troops on how to survive if they're captured and tortured. Programming used to be considered a menial, unskilled work for underpaid women, and the term computer referred to those women who made punch card codes to compute long and tedious mathematical calculations or just did it by hand. Lonnie Johnson was an American inventor who is most famously known for inventing the Super Soaker, which he initially developed while working with the US Air Force. He later sued Hasbro for underpaid royalties and was awarded nearly $73 million. Mozart used nonsensical Latin while writing Difficile Lectue to make 2 puns in German and Italian. In March of 1849, an enslaved man named Henry Brown shipped himself to freedom in a 3-foot by 2-foot crate from his master's home in Richmond, Virginia to Philadelphia, earning himself the nickname Box. The first cocoa mix, Swiss Miss, was invented to use up excess inventory of coffee creamer created for the Korean War. In post-independence Argentina, turpentine enemas were given to political dissenters as a form of punishment. In 1919, a nurse rejected Ernest Hemingway's affections by sending him one of the earliest notable Dear John letters, known as letters written by women to military men informing them that their relationship is over. In 1969, Hungarian gastrophysicist Nicholas Curtis, with the newly available microwave oven, created a reverse-baked Alaska consisting of a frozen meringue shell filled with hot liquor he called the Frozen Florida. After singer George Michael crashed his car into the front of a Snappy Snaps store in Hampstead, North London in 2010, somebody graffitied in the dent of the shop with the word "Wham!" In the past, many Turkish bars hired people to carry drunk people in a basket. When researchers removed eyebrows from pictures of familiar faces, it reduced the chances of recognition substantially, and significantly more than removing the eyes themselves. The US government has an entire telephone area code, which is 710, reserved for itself, and there exists only one phone number in the entire area code. Individual M&Ms are called lentils. Almost every third West Virginian is depressed, 29% compared to 11.4% in Hawaii and 15.3% in California. Graffiti artist David Cho became a multi-millionaire after he decided to take Facebook stock instead of a payment for a painting. In 1965, philosophy professor Hubert Dreyfus, a staunch critic of artificial intelligence, boldly claimed that a machine would never beat a human at a game of chess. It would only be 2 years before the outspoken scholar was himself checkmated by an MIT-developed computer. Quebec's ban on toy and fast food ads directed at children under 13 has contributed to a reduction in childhood obesity rates. Cunard, the British ship owner, intended to name the largest ship after the late Queen Victoria. It asked the current king for permission to name it after Britain's greatest queen, but the king, thinking they were referring to his wife, Queen Mary, agreed. Cunard was forced to change the name to the Queen Mary. Carcinization is a form of convergent evolution in which non-crab crustaceans tend to evolve a crab-like body morphology. It has been described as the many attempts of nature to evolve a crab. Elephants are capable of recognizing themselves in a mirror, demonstrating a level of self-awareness previously thought to be unique to humans and only a few other species. There's a lake in Antarctica so salty that it never freezes, even at minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit. The Android operating system almost failed to release due to a lack of early funding. With the team facing eviction, Steve Perlman gave $10,000 cash and an undisclosed amount for seed funding, saving the team. Perlman refused a stake, saying he only did it because he believed in the thing. Riot dogs were stray dogs that have become symbols of resistance by accompanying protesters during demonstrations, notably in Greece and Chile, and most recently observed in Georgia. Scientists showed with study that 94% of AI-generated exam answers remain unrecognized. The AI performed half a grade better than the students. More Americans that live north of the 35-degree line have some sort of gluten intolerance than their counterparts below the line, regardless of race, class, or BMI. Gladys Aylward was a Christian missionary who traveled to the Chinese to proselytize by helping at an inn and attempting to stop the tradition of foot binding. When the Japanese attacked, she would lead 100 of the orphan children in her care to safety away from the invading Japanese on foot. Arthur Conan Doyle secretly resented his Sherlock Holmes character. Even with an orbital velocity of 490,000 miles per hour, the sun has only circled the Milky Way 8 to 20 times. The Irish language has 3 counting systems, one for math, another for humans, and another for non-humans. During their 1966 world tour, which included the Philippines, the Beatles accidentally snubbed the First Lady Imelda Marcos by missing a palace luncheon, sparking public outrage and a hostile send-off. It was so traumatic that the Beatles vowed to never return to the Philippines. The theory that dinosaurs were driven to extinction by an asteroid was only proposed as recently as 1980. PSR B162026b, also known as Methuselah, is the oldest known planet in the universe. It's believed to be 12.7 billion years old. Havre, Montana burned down in 1904. The citizens moved into their basements and built tunnels between homes and businesses until an entire city flourished underground. It was open for tours in 1999. Franklin Delano Roosevelt's wife had a maiden name of Roosevelt. They were actually 5th cousins. Armadillos give birth to 4 identical quadruplets every time. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please subscribe and leave a like. And other than that, I just appreciate you. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.